All right, folks, welcome back to the Off-Air Voiceover podcast. My name, of course, is Michael.
And I'm Jen.
And, oh, Jen, you've gone super quiet.
Hold on. Sorry about that. Am I better now?
That's way better.
Sorry.
There we go. Do you know what? We'll just leave it. Let's just crack on. Start as we mean to go on.
Oh, dear.
Today we have the one and only Mr. Henry Willard, a name that a lot of you will probably have seen online, but we've managed to get him live and in person. Henry, thanks so much for joining us today, mate.
No, pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's a great chat.
Well, so for those that may not know much about you, do you want to just sort of like give into an introduction about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm an audio engineer and demo producer, specifically for the voiceover industry. I have a music background as a musician, but kind of got into the voiceover side of things good sort of 10 years or so ago. And that's the area that I specifically focus, mainly working with and helping voice actors primarily, with remote recording, editing, long form and short form, one-to-one kind of booth audits, support sessions, audiobook edits, where sometimes work directly with authors as well. So whatever I need to kind of help voice actors with editing or recording their voice.
Well, do you know what? I like a lot of you who'll know your name. I see you post all the time on like LinkedIn and stuff, and a lot of work you do. And then the first time I got to work with you was on that session, wasn't it, last year? I've forgotten who it was for, but you were the engineer on the session.
Yeah, who was that through?
I can't remember. I cannot remember who it was. It was a really good session, though.
I wonder who that
came off it and I was like, this is why a good engineer makes all the difference.
I think we spoke about it, actually. It
really does make a difference. So it was the first time I got to interact with you. It was a really good session.
That's quite funny.
I think that's it. Isn't it? Like when it comes to like I've had sessions before where sometimes they say they'll do things themselves, and I don't know if there's like a misunderstanding as how difficult it can be to keep things organised, keep things in place. Going back to click, like what take was that? Oh, I don't know. Did you not mark it down? All right, which one? That was number 3. Did you note it? Oh no, I didn't. And it's like, and then you get an engineer in place who just organises everything. Yeah. It's a structure. Oh my God, what a difference!
And it's like one line from take number 1, but the end of take number 3, and you're like, how? And you do it in like, I don't know, 3 seconds, and you're like, you're sure I'll just put that in place for you, and then you're like, how? How have you done that so quickly? That would take me like half an hour.
Yeah. It's so important for me to just help the voice talent and just like relieve the pressure. And the way I always look at it is like I'm in their corner. I've got their back. We're a team, myself and the voice talent. Not that we're like against the client or the creative team, but I'm just there to help them out so they can just kind of focus on what they need to do and just kind of working away in the background while they're maybe taking on some feedback from the client. I'll just be kind of labeling each take, putting in some markers, moving kind of takes and clips around just to kind of keep it organized. And then they'll ask, oh, can we hear that take back? Can we hear that take back? And I can just kind of do it and just freeze up the talent to kind of just take on some water, just have a little breather, check the script over. So it just works in tandem. It just helps you guys out.
It really does.
And it's also just makes it really smooth for the client and creative team as possible. And it's I sometimes get sessions through agencies who kind of hire me to run sessions for them, or I'll have voice actors kind of reach out to me directly to kind of, if they have a big session come in, whether it be like a new client or just a big client, they know there's going to be loads of people on the line, they know that they've been asked for playback, all sorts of scripts, then they'll think, you know what, I'm just going to get Henry on board for this and just run it. And so I'll go in and kind of run that session. And it's always fun to do. But I started doing a lot of remote recording, I'd say good, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Right. And it was heavy stuff. I was doing a lot of work for a European agency. So I went straight in the deep end because it wasn't just English stuff I was doing. I was running sessions in German, Italian, Spanish,
Wow.
Dutch, French, Japanese, and all sorts. I didn't speak a word, but it's amazing how like I've got the scripts in both languages, so you can kind of follow and translate. So I kind of just
That's next level.
I'm getting stressed thinking about
it. There were some stressful sessions for sure, but it was a good way to really kind of get quick.
Yeah,
with,
but English
with
now
running
is
those
just like,
sessions.
this is a doddle.
Yeah, get an English session is
My
great.
language?
Oh,
Sure.
brilliant. Yeah.
I just remember which one it was. It was R&IB, the appeals advert we did.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's what it was.
Yes,
Session,
yeah.
But you know what I think? But yeah, just touching on that, I think I've been on sessions before where there's no engineer, and then sort of they ask me. So obviously I'll do the recording. Obviously I'll record at my end. But then they'll ask me, can you make a note of that one? Can you make a note of this take? Now, I'm not tech savvy when it comes to the audio stuff at all. So when they ask me to record stuff, they ask me to break it up and mark this and mark that. I suddenly start to feel a bit overwhelmed. Now, even people who maybe do have a bit of experience with it and don't feel overwhelmed, I still don't think it's our job. I still think there should be a little bit... Well, obviously, I say that, I don't mean that too bluntly, but what I mean is, like you said before, Henry, I think the idea on a session is try and leave the voiceover to just focus on the voiceover. Whereas I've been on sessions where now I've got to figure out markers, chapter this, like put this to one side, favourite this one. It's like, and it throws me off.
Yeah.
What I'm supposed
You should
to be doing with the
100% know about that
scripts a little bit.
beforehand, if nothing else. You should be
absolutely.
like, and I feel like
If
that's
I'm
an extra
prepared for it.
skill that you don't necessarily
if I'm
have.
prepared for it, it's a little different. But if like on the session, can you...
I think that's
and, yeah, like I
unreasonable.
say, when they say to me, can you mark it all and do obviously I'm going to say yes, I'm going to do what I can, but I just feel like this is, obviously you'll do it, it's part of the job, but I just feel like this is where if you want all that sort of stuff doing, you really should get someone in who specialises in that, so everyone can do their job and do it fully focused.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because it does throw you off sync a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask. It's some of the sessions, they can be really demanding and really specific and want this take taken from that line from that take.
Yeah.
With that take, can we just hear take 1 and take 5 of that end part of the line, or on the back of the bit we recorded 5 minutes ago? Can you find what bit was that? So it's really it's tough, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I would anyone who is into hiring voiceovers that listens to this, I promise you, if you actually get an engineer for your sessions and let the voiceover focus on doing their job, you'll probably have a much more streamlined session.
Definitely, and I think because we're always like that. I can never remember which side of the brain it is, but like switching between left and right, like you're not going to get as good performance because then part of me's thinking, oh crap, I need to mark this up, or I've not done this, and then I'm not truly in the spirit of the performance.
Yeah, it's a really good sell as well for the voice actors that hire me kind of regularly. They can just kind of go to their client and say, well, for this, do you mind if I get my personal engineer on the session? And it's like, it just sounds really impressive. And
I really want to do that. I want to be one of those people who can do that. It's coming, Henry. I can feel it.
That was cool.
So just out of interest then, so I mentioned earlier on that, and I was reading on your website, you're saying about your love for music and you started with bands, etc. But then about 10 years ago, you said you moved into voiceover. So was there any specific reason why voiceover got your attention? Was there any area of voiceover you specifically wanted to be involved in, or how did that come about?
So I was running like a local recording studio for someone from like my mid-20s. And that was... He kind of initially brought me in to kind of turn his like kind of home studio a bit more public and kind of do it up and kind of get more kind of work. And originally it was like bands and artists, but kind of quickly realized that market was like drying up. Like local bands, local artists hiring recording studios just isn't really a thing at the kind of lower level. Everyone just kind of does it from home. So we kind of quickly shifted into kind of just looking at voiceover work. I think we had like an inquiry, and then it kind of was a bit of a light bulb moment, thinking, we could kind of do this. I mean, I was kind of just running the whole place and just engineering all the sessions for him. And I just kind of built it up. I kind of treated it very much as like a baby at this place, and just really built up. Just got some great work, great contacts through. Kind of quickly, got some good projects in. Then it kind of got to like 2021. Our daughter, our first, was due, and my time at this place kind of run its course, as some jobs do.
Yeah.
And it just, and it was just the perfect time to kind of just branch out on my own. I'd kind of built up great kind of knowledge and loads of projects behind me in the kind of voiceover world, and it just felt like a great fit.
You say it's a perfect time, but that sounds like a terrifying time as well. Like you're just about to have a baby. I'm going to start my own business, actually. I'm going to go completely freelance, and I don't have this security anymore.
No, I mean it's I could be at home permanently.
Of course,
I mean I was still playing in kind of bands and stuff at the time a lot as well, so I had that as extra kind of income.
Yeah.
So I had that on the side, which really helped. And very shortly after I'd kind of gone out on my own, one of a previous kind of big client who I was doing a lot of the remote recording sessions for, the European stuff, kind of reached out to me about doing some work, and I said, well, I've kind of left that studio now, but we kind of made it work, and that's when I kind of really kind of launched into I can do this myself. And I think the difference was I could kind of tailor what I do and focus more on just helping voice actors first and foremost, rather than just being a kind of open studio. So I'm here I'm purely remote. I do get a lot of inquiries. Do you record people in person there? Like right now I don't. It's but yeah, it just works really nicely. I think when I first, like a lot of people, like when I first kind of went out on my own, I had to kind of find my place, find my niche, because at the studio I'd done a lot of done some ADR sessions for TV and animation. So when I first went solo, I was kind of trying to dip my feet in different kind of bits of water and see where my place really was. And I'd say it probably only took like 6 months or so to really like fine tune and figure out where my place was and the key services that I could offer. And I think that just kind of naturally found its path with running remote sessions, as I'd already done. I was getting a lot of inquiries for just general editing projects that people have recorded and just didn't have time to edit, or it needed, the client wanted a fully cleaned up project. I'd kind of done a few demos at my old job, but really wanted to kind of tailor those and get a really great product out for voice actors when it comes to demos. So a few different kind of services there that I now provide that I think just kind of work to support voice actors wherever they are, really.
Yeah, because I was going to say, cause looking on your website, you've, apart from doing the actual editing stuff, I mean, it is like a full service that you do. Demo production, you can do home studio reviews, etc. Help on the technical side of things. So it really is purely from a support angle. Yeah, there's absolutely loads on offer which can really help. I mean, like I know for myself, I struggle a lot with like technical stuff and whatnot. So it's good that you've got a full suite of services that can help people, and particularly with demo. I know we've talked privately about demo production as well. So, which kind of leads me to my next point. So, after doing this now for 8, 9, 10 years, working with voice actors, I think one of the great things about your experiences, as from our side of the fence, Through time and experience, we kind of pick up the do's and the don'ts and the and whatnot. But I think there's a lot of information. Well, say a lot of it. I don't put any pressure on it to like reel off all the bullet points. But I think you come with some experience, which I think will be really interesting. That's a better word. Maybe points of view you could share about things that you see people do that maybe if they didn't do or did differently could help them, etc.
Yes, please. Give it the inside
where
scoop.
I'd like to start, where I would like to start with is demos, because obviously everyone looks for demos all the time. I'm working with voice actors, so when somebody is looking for a demo to get done, and they approach you, what ideally would you, let's say, if they're new or experienced, because obviously both come with different sort of expertise and ideas. But when working with a voice actor, how would you like them to be prepared? Is there anything like before you get started, you do think have this in place before we get going?
I think the classic thing is, are they ready? Have they had coaching? I know it gets talked about a lot, and they do have. If they are green, I think they do have to be ready, and whoever they've been coaching with or whoever they've worked with, kind of, I think, still has to give that green light. Otherwise, you're kind of putting a product together that isn't really gonna help them. I'd just be taking their money, and it's not something I like to do.
Sorry, also because it kind of reflects poorly on you, I suppose, a little bit. Like you must be like, oh God, don't tell them I did it. I don't know. It must be difficult.
It's tough because you can. I think I done kind of reluctantly. It puts those kind of demos together when I was working as kind of previously at this studio, and that was mainly with like musical theatre students who kind of dipping their toes into kind of voice acting kind of thing, and it was kind of giving them a product, but it wasn't really gonna help them. So I think it's quite fortunate that I think the majority of inquiries that I get now are from kind of voice actors who generally are seasoned and been in the game a while, or if it is their first demo, they have been coaching. And I think that's happening across the board now a lot more. I think those coming into voiceover, I mean, you guys would probably be able to say as well, but a lot of people are making sure that they are getting some good coaching. I mean, I don't know if you find there are still a lot of voice actors who aren't. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting when people post on like is it British voiceovers on Facebook, they get lambasted. Is that the right term? Like if they're saying, oh, I want to get a demo booked, and everyone's like immediately like, have you had coaching? So it feels like as a community, everyone's like, just you need to do this first for your sake as well as the industry's.
I still think we definitely have a thing where people will try and rush too much. I think they get excited in the mind about being able to do voiceover. They've sold the dream to themselves, and they want to get a demo done, and they can hand it out to people, and look how amazing I sound. But you can't jump in this industry. You cannot jump ahead. You have to, and sometimes the long road may seem like a boring one. Like you have to do the coaching, you have to do the practice, etc., etc. But those foundations that you lay them correctly, they really do pay off at the end. And I do think, I think when it comes to coaching, I do think, I mean, nobody I know of does this, so I don't know when it springs to mind, but I do know these people exist, especially coming out of a post-COVID era where some people were looking to try and make money. They dipped the toe in voiceover, and then now they're offering voiceover coaching services when they weren't probably ready to coach themselves. And I think sometimes what can happen is some people will maybe get some coaching, and like you said about that green light, are they ready? I don't think they are ready, but sometimes the idea is just do it, get on with it, get the first one done, you build from there. Which there's an element of truth to that, but I still think you need to pass that green line first. Like you have to be producer ready, and you have to be able to be directed and know it. I don't think you can just rattle something off with a little bit of coaching and go, okay, and we'll just build it out from here. Like I think you still need to get to a certain point, and I think
it's difficult to know, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you always. I've said many times, it doesn't matter where you start. Your starting point is never going to be your finishing point. So you're always going to be a bit shit before you get a bit good. That's just how progress happens. So even you can be as prepared as you want for your first demo, but it will still be it'll always be something to improve on.
Yeah.
But I do think some of the coaching. Yeah, I think sometimes people can be told, that'll be all right, and off you go, and actually maybe it wasn't quite right.
What do you do now then, Henry, if someone comes to you and you feel like maybe they're not quite ready? Like, have you had that? Have you had to have that kind of difficult conversation?
not recently, but I think you just have to be honest. You just have to be real, and it's just not something I would be comfortable taking on, just because it would make it harder for me to produce a really good product,
Yeah.
And a really good demo. But I think you just have to be frank and honest with people. But like I say, thankfully, for both parties, it's not something that happens regularly, for me, and
That's good.
certainly hasn't happened recently, which is good. But it is there's no kind of set path, is there?
No.
With voice acting, and it's like you're hopping from stepping stones, and everyone will kind of take their own route, and it's just kind of getting that green light and just getting the right kind of coaching. There are so many coaches out there now. So yeah,
it's very difficult
just got to
to
kind
know
of find your own
which ones
path.
well, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it's all so subjective. It's not
it is, yeah.
It's not a linear journey, is it really?
Yeah. But no, when it comes to demos, it's
do you enjoy doing them? Is it like, I'm sure you've worked with some great people, and it must be exciting because you're crafting the worlds, aren't you, that we're laying voices to, and what's that like? What's that experience like from your side?
It's really fun, and I like to make it super fun. Like my whole kind of ethos with demos is to make them super personal. So it's not just a case of, oh, your voice sort of sounds like this. Let's pick out Lindt and Mercedes-Benz, and let's just do these 6 brands, and that'll sound good. I have a whole process where it starts with a phone call where I like to spend a good 45 minutes just getting to know the voice actor on a personal level. I invite them to share with me as much or as little as they want about themselves. So their likes, their loves, their passions, their interests. And I just make notes of everything they're saying. And it could be just like the smallest things throughout the day that kind of spark their interest. I just make these notes, and quite meticulously, I go through these notes after the call and try and identify 6 brands or topics that resonate with the voice actor themselves, but are also going to work for their voice, work for their kind of target audience, and kind of build their demo from there, so that every single spot has a link to them as a person, to their soul. And if that can draw out an extra 5, 10, 15% of kind of passion in their performance, I think that really shines through, and it's really key. So we're not just kind of picking random brands. Every script that I write as well for them it's all custom copy, it's all tailored. I go away and kind of do further research about the brand, the 6 brands that we choose, to really make sure that my writing is in keeping with that brand's authentic writing and their
I didn't even know you did the writing for them as well. So that's interesting.
Generally. The only exception is video game. And video game demos aren't something that I've ever publicly kind of advertised or pushed. Because I'm not a gamer, and my video game knowledge is very basic. And so I wouldn't be comfortable producing, I can produce a great sounding video game demo, and I could write some scripts, but to put out a really stellar video game demo, I think I want someone to write their scripts who has insane video game knowledge. And just knows video game characters.
And the styles of the games, and what's involved.
Exactly.
So I love that, because the amount of people that are like, yeah, I can do that. No, leave with me, I'll sort it. It's like, no, I love that. It's because I think it's Yeah, at least if you know there's an area that you probably aren't going to be in an area you're going to be as strong as somebody else, it's saying, okay, well, this is where I specialise, but this bit gets someone else who's more experienced, which is really important.
Know what you're good at. I think that's a really good bit of advice for us all.
I think it's something that you can still come across, I think, in the audio kind of tech industry. Is it's easy for kind of egos to take over a little bit, and
you have none of that in the voice
acting.
What are you talking
about? But no, it's not about, and this goes for demos in general. Like, it's not about my production or trying to have this amazing soundscape that kind of takes over everything. It's what I do behind the voice. Is just supporting the voice fully. So the voice is, and I did this in my LinkedIn post recently, it's making sure that the voice is not only a great take, but it's front and center and produced beautifully. But the music, the sound design around that is wide, it's immersive, it's cinematic, but it supports the voice. It doesn't overpower, and that's so vital. You shouldn't even really notice it too much. You want to be focusing on the voice. But yeah, so with videoing your demos, I'll generally reach out to someone else in the industry who has that video game knowledge and just is a gamer, just loves video games, who can come on board or collaborate and write scripts and just work that way. That way, the voice actor's just getting just an insane product with expertise, kind of at every level. It's so important. With commercial and corporate and any other bits I do, like narration, IVR, I'll generally, that's my kind of wheelhouse for the writing side of things. Yeah.
Do you find many people do like? Are you still finding people that maybe do like homemade demos that have said, "Oh, can you try and fix it up for us?" And you've maybe said, maybe think about redoing it.
Not necessarily homemade. I mean, I do still get voice actors who maybe can't quite afford like a full blown brand new demo, which is totally understandable. So they'll maybe sometimes just kind of record scripts that they've written, and I'll kind of veto the quality. But if they send them over, I'm happy for like a kind of discounted price for them to kind of do that, and I'll just kind of put the sound design behind it. So they can be kind of flexible there. Depends what they want.
I suppose the affordability side of it is fair enough. I suppose what I was kind of getting at was, particularly for people that are coming new into the industry, for a cost-saving measure, then they say, "Oh, I'm just going to put my own demo together." Now, these people who probably don't have much experience with audio engineering, etc., I always say, don't make your own demo unless you absolutely know what you're doing. Don't make your own demo, because that is your foot forward. That is you say, "So this is the best I can do, and I'm putting it down on MP3 and sending it here." Because if you don't really know what you're doing, I think that's why you're best going to someone who does. But I think sometimes, I don't know, I see this sometimes in the Facebook groups with people sort of taking, I won't say they're not taking the criticism well, but they don't believe that they need a fully fledged demo. They believe that a homemade one will suffice for now.
It's not going to stand up, though, is it?
Yeah, and exactly, that's my point. Yeah.
Funny enough, I had an email yesterday from a voice actor who, similar kind of situation. She'd put, I think she'd been requested like a certain genre of demo that she didn't have, so she kind of put something together herself for this kind of purpose, so that she had something to give them. And she kind of asked for my opinion, and she had some really great character ideas. I like kind of what she'd done with her diverse characters, but sound wise, there were no effects on the voice or anything. It was so kind of for the genre of demo, I won't go into too much detail, but for the genre of demo, it was never going to stand up.
Okay.
If it was being put out there, it was never going to stand up against a fully blown kind of professional demo. But yeah, for anyone just kind of doing their own homemade kind of demo, and for the purpose of kind of putting it out there to try and stand up against a professionally produced demo. It's kind of rare, I think, to find that it's gonna stand up.
So
Yeah,
competitive, isn't it? I think you don't want that to be the thing that
it
lets you
is.
down, like, because you might be really talented, and it's difficult because they can be very expensive. But I think it's just
Oh yeah,
they take the time and save up, isn't
It's
it?
an investment, though, isn't it?
I know, but you don't. Sometimes people
yeah,
don't have that money, so it is like you
Yeah.
have to spend the time saving and making it
yeah.
a priority.
That's it. It's like you said. It is a hyper competitive industry. So if a lot of people around you that you're trying to compete with for work, or at least just to be heard amongst a load of other people, what people hear, you want to try and be the best it can. So, like I say, I'm not being ignorant. I know obviously budgets can make things difficult, but I've always said if you're not very good with sound design, if you don't know much about engineering, or don't make your own demo, just don't do it. Save your money.
Sorry, just to kind of change it slightly, do you ever do auditions? Like, in terms of, do people ever send you audio to engineer for auditions and like to work on?
The short answer is no.
Okay.
I don't think I ever get that. I get.
I mean, most people want raw audio. I just suddenly thought, like, I don't know if it was something.
No, maybe like if what about live sessions? Maybe where it's like a test read though.
Yeah, no, that's different, I suppose, from what I was thinking anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had anyone send me something saying, "Oh, this is for an audition. Can you clean it up?"
Yeah. Well, like a prospect. Like if I was thinking, okay, if I wanted to target a very niched, I don't know, like housing or something, and I was like, actually, I've created this. Can you master this for me? And I can send it out. It's like, I don't know, just thinking, just planning, just getting.
Yeah, something I could do for sure. Yeah, not for auditions. I mean, I get so much. Yeah. But I get a lot of editing work come through from voice actors who have recorded projects for clients, and the clients kind of want it cleaned up and mastered or whatever, and they kind of get it sent to me, and it can be a case of like timing as well.
Yes, you are going to be so much quicker than
and if voice actors are like, I've got to go and pick the kids up from school, and the client wants it by 5 p.m. or whatever, I get a lot of that, so I get a lot of short notice work, which is fine. They say, "Oh, can you just like clean up, edit it, do what you need to do, send it back." So yeah, there's a lot of that work as well. Just kind of that short form stuff.
Just out of interest, when it comes to editing, like I've got a thing when I do stuff, I always take out, obviously mouth clicks is the main one, but breaths. This is a bit of a contentious thing amongst some people. Some people say leave the breaths in because it humanises it, keeps it real. But on the other hand, I don't want to listen to something where I'm going all the way through.
Depends on the genre, though.
Get rid of them.
It does. Yeah. It's I think it does depend on the genre and the type of project. Like a radio ad, you're not going to want any breaths in there. But
because they massively overwritten it, and you're trying to
but no, with breaths are a funny one. Like I edit a lot of audiobooks. I've always got at least one audiobook edit on the go. I think I've got 4 on at the moment. So with audiobooks, I tend to leave breaths in as long as they're not too overbearing. That can be a real that can be a real pain point. If there's a narrator who is just very heavy with every single breath in, that's tough.
I think that's on us as well. That side of things, it's about technique, isn't it? And
it is,
control. Like it, but
completely.
That's a really useful hint, I suppose, from you as well, in terms of are there things that we can be doing? Like that's a great one in terms of the breath control, or I don't know. I'm really now mumbling along, but don't take a massive breath before a big sentence. Or do you know what I mean? Like, is there anything that you could articulate better than I just tried to?
It's
it wouldn't be hard.
Well, I got asked this.
First time, Jen.
I did get asked this a couple of days ago from a narrator. So, is there anything like anything better that I can do? Like, I think they maybe go into like their first or second book, and breaths were the first thing I mentioned. It's always kind of number one. When it comes to audiobook edits, I tend to do like a sound check first, just to kind of check if I haven't worked with them before.
Yeah.
Kind of check the room tone, pass, great, and then we'll kind of record the first chapter. I'll edit that and have a listen through, or it could be like the introduction or the foreword, whatever, and just kind of listen and kind of before we kind of just rather than recording the whole book, and then they kind of there's some problems. We'll kind of record the first chapter, whatever, and I can kind of have a listen, and then if there's anything in there that I think we need to just be aware of for the rest of the book, then we'll look at that. And I had this on the most recent book that I'm working on is the narrator, incredible narrator. Just sounds so good and very experienced, but every breath in was just a little bit loud.
Okay.
And it was just taking over the focus a little bit. It was taking away from the narration. I felt so. I just had to be honest and say, okay, for the rest of the book, sounds great, superb job, pacing was wonderful, but let's just watch those breaths. If we can get those inhales a little bit quieter, that'd be grand. So yeah, that's one of the main things that I do come across. The other thing is shuffling. The amount of shuffling. Oh, you're a shuffler, Jen.
I am a bit of shuffling. I think that's why I quite like gaming characters. I'm very physical. And then I'm like, I can't. That's why I don't do audiobooks. I just can't stop moving.
Yeah.
This stool that I'm on, we changed it about 3 or 4 months ago. So we had a wooden one that was like past itself, and it was creaking a bit. So we got this one with more like metal chairs. But now this one, it probably doesn't help that I weigh like nearly 100 kilos. So, but I think it's now sometimes it creaks a little bit. So yeah, like I try not to shuffle. I try and keep myself super still. But this microphone is hypersensitive, so it can be difficult sometimes. But I was just thinking actually as well. Like, I did this. I've mentioned on the previous episode. But I did this project just before Christmas, which was like ginormous, and I still to this day regret not giving it out to like someone like yourself to do the editing, because it took me a month to record the whole project, and me being like, no, I'll do the editing, like I'll take care of all that. Man, that was a mistake. I really should have, because I put so much extra pressure on myself to get the editing done, and then thankfully, despite throughout the whole project, the actual amount of pickups was minute. It was about 1% of the whole thing, which was incredible.
Wow.
But that didn't change the fact of I had a tremendous amount of editing to do, still had recordings to do. There was sometimes some script changes. And on reflection, in hindsight, I should have gone, right, okay, this block done, Henry, there you go. And you do what you need to do. I'll stop stressing out. And I will not make that mistake again. I will definitely not make that mistake. I think from my perspective, it's like, I'll do everything. I can take care of everything. I'm in control of it all. But no, absolutely not. And from a productivity point of view, from a streamlined point of view, lesson learned.
Doesn't make sense, does it? Go to a professional, I think.
It's audiobook editing is a lot. For a voice actor to do that to a really high standard is really, really difficult. It's really tricky. And
well, the mistake I've made is in the past, right, I've edited stuff. I mean, thankfully, the vast majority of work I do is not long form. It's it's an average of like 1.5 to 2 minutes of voiceover. So my editing doesn't require loads and loads of time, but what I've found is that sometimes in the past when I've edited stuff, in the moment I've thought it sounds okay. I mean, we're going back a couple of years ago, because obviously over time you develop, but I've noticed that in the moment I'll edit things and I'll try. I mean, I don't really do any processing as such on the audio, but any little bits I might have done, I think, yeah, it sounds good, and then I'll come back to something, because I mentioned it because it happened only a couple of days ago. I listened to an audition that I did about in 2022, 2023. It was horrendous. The audio quality, I don't know what I did to it, but it just sounded awful. And I just remember thinking, in that moment, I thought that sounded great because I was locked in, I was listening to it, I had nothing else to compare it to in terms of this is what I'm listening to right now and it sounds good. But then when I step away and you come back to it, you think, what were you doing? So I just think, what I'm saying is, for this longer form stuff, like... It's dread to think. I think it's best just to get a professional to do it for longer form stuff. 100%.
I think it's interesting you do studio checks as well. I think for people who are listening to this who are newer, for me that was a steepest learning curve. Like, I came from like an acting background and knew nothing, and that was like, oh fuck, like just everything, like in terms of the space and just everything was just trying to learn that. And I think it's great that you offer that, because it would be hugely beneficial for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's something that obviously there are a few different people out there who offer that, that kind of thing.
Party going on at Henry's house.
Yeah, there it is. um, yeah, it's something that a few different people in the industry offer. But it's just nice to kind of just offer a very kind of personal service, and I'll always just offer the best kind of recommendations and advice that I can.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I say it's something that I get a lot of inquiries about all the time. People who kind of just maybe kind of a little bit new to the industry, but really want to take it seriously, which is great. Great to hear. And they've just kind of moved into a new space, and they just want some advice and recommendations and tips and how to kind of make that space. And so I'll always ask for maybe kind of rundown of kind of the space they're in. If they've got some photos, great. Because it's all remote. I get a lot of inquiries from North America, so I work with a lot of US voice talent reach out for this kind of thing. And so I'll ask for a gear rundown, and kind of just go through how I think we can kind of work that space, my general recommendations. Or a lot of inquiries are people who've kind of set a space up, and they just kind of want me to kind of check how it sounds.
Yeah, it's a seal of approval, I think. Before I was aware of you as well, I went with Rob B, I think, who just did the same thing, and it was literally I was going to listen to the space, and it was fine, but I needed someone, an external ear, a professional who could be like, it's fine, you're good to go. But you just need that sometimes when you don't know what you're doing as much.
If there's a problem, if someone's just they're certain that it's not good enough, or they're getting a noise from somewhere, then they just kind of are thinking, what is going on? So it's a case of kind of identifying that, and sometimes it can be technical, some sort of technical glitch, but other times it can be, not that I'm a big kind of gear, microphone, you have to have this mic kind of thing, but sometimes it's been a case of they've got a certain like condenser mic in a space that really isn't going to work well, especially if they've got kind of external factors, outside noise as well at home, whereas that could be the perfect opportunity to switch to like a shotgun mic that's going to be a little bit more focused and hopefully kind of reject some of that kind of outside noise a little bit. So it's just finding what can work to kind of make their sound a bit better. And other times it can just be maybe a couple of plugins that can help with that. Again, I'm not a big believer in building kind of stacks for people. It's not something I really do. There are certain plugins that I can absolutely recommend, and sometimes I'll dial in settings for people for certain styles of read. But when it comes to like building stacks, there isn't a one size fits all.
No, of course.
Every read is different. Genre is different. You're going to get different performances, so you're going to want to tweak your settings.
Why could you use any plugins or have any like stacks or?
No.
She said,
Steph
showing her ignorance.
So obviously Steph built this studio, and she uses Adobe Audition, and she is a whiz around it. It gives me a headache trying to watch her, like with all the shortcuts and everything. But what she does, we just record totally raw, and then sometimes she'll put like a single band compressor on something, and maybe normalise it. But in terms of actual stacks to run it through, no, because I think the vast majority of times you send stuff off, they don't want anything messed with it.
No,
because
no.
if they're going to mess with it, they want to do it, and they want to do it at base level.
100%.
What do you think about you saying about the declicker and stuff, like whether you use anything?
Oh, you run a
for that?
declicker through it. URX10, I think it is, for a declicker.
Yeah.
No, Henry, what I was going to ask you quickly was, because you interested in mentioning about, like, I mean, one thing I see quite often as well is people saying about starting out new studios or new arrangements, and if people are working from home, it is sometimes like a pillow fort in the closet or something. Is it like a general, would you say, if someone is starting out with like literally no budget or trying to keep it super simple, just some basics just to avoid to get them going, like no room with a window, for example, or what about acoustic panels, the foam, is it worth putting those things up? Like, is there any basic information you can help recommend for someone starting out?
I mean, it can really depend. Budget is a big factor. You know, if someone has like zero budget and they just need something, then you have to look at that and think, well, kind of rugs, blankets, anything. You can't have just bare walls. Bare walls will just not work. You're just going to get that echo. You're not going to get a great sound. It won't be conducive to voiceover recording. So you kind of got to do something to make sure you haven't got bare walls. Whether that is rugs, some sort of blankets, duvets to start with. If they've got more of a budget, then you can look at the paneling side of things. I tend to avoid recommending. I mean, I don't recommend that kind of like the cheap foam tiles you can get, like with the lines, or like.
I did that when I first started out. That's exactly what I did. I had them all over my room.
Yeah. I mean,
it sounded like a padded cell.
Yeah, they'll stop the echo, but they'll also suck the life out of your voice and then any kind of natural frequencies. So again, if they've got a bit of a budget, depending on the size of their space, if someone's working in like a kind of small closet kind of space, then they don't have a huge amount of wall space to treat, which can be good. So I'll often kind of recommend these kind of panels there. So it's which is designed.
His wall, then.
Yeah, it's like my hand. No. So those kind of panels are great because they'll diffuse any kind of frequencies that are going to potentially kind of bounce around.
People are just listening, Henry, just so people, if they're not watching it.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, listeners as well as So general kind of acoustic, individual acoustic tiles that are like foam backing, but then like a wooden kind of fascia kind of front.
Check out Henry's Instagram because he does have lots of pictures of his studio, which give you an illustration of them.
Like the slits in the wood, they look like waveforms.
Yeah.
Quite decorative.
Like really nice.
You can get different patterns and all sorts, but the main purpose is that it's not pure foam. It's going to kind of diffuse the frequencies and kind of scatter as well. So you're going to retain some naturalness in the room. I like these kind of long wall slats as well, like slat wall again, like it's like acoustic foam with slatted wood. You see them a lot more, kind of popping up a lot more now. I've noticed.
Since they've seen your Instagram, I think that's what it is.
Maybe.
That's good.
Jumped on that.
Yeah.
But again,
link underneath.
But acoustically, that kind of there are different. You got different companies producing it. I think AcuPanel one, or Slat Wall maybe something like that.
Because the thing is, it doesn't matter what microphone you have. If you like, you could have the best microphone in the world. If you're not in the right treated space, it's not going to benefit at all.
Completely.
And sometimes that misconception of, I've got a top of the range mic, so it'll sound alright. It's like, no, like it will not sound great if that room that you're recording in, that space you're recording in, is not correctly treated. Well, I say correctly treated to a level where you're getting rid of the problem areas. Doesn't matter what microphone you've got, it's not going to help you.
Yeah, it's got to be an appropriate space. 100%. But yeah, I mean, I not that I don't get anything from endorsement or anything, but my the individual panels are from UA Acoustics, who are actually based in Ukraine, but they're awesome. always recommend them.
Okay.
So they're worth checking out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just about getting that space well treated and just trying to retain the natural frequencies. You don't want your voice just be sapped of life. So yeah, kind of coming full circle back to the original question, it's just about clearing that wall space and trying to just get a nice sounding space where possible.
I am amazed that you could remember what the original question was, because I certainly had forgotten what it was.
I had to think.
Good work. Good work.
What I did want to ask you was, though, going back to something we actually said about towards the beginning, was regarding live sessions, remote sessions. Now, let's say you're in a situation where you have been, like when we first worked together on that project, you were hired as the engineer for that commercial. In those scenarios or situations, is there anything that you see some voiceovers like that maybe you think, like, okay, I'll rephrase it. Are there any tips from your side of the table that you could offer to other voiceovers who are going on remote sessions that maybe could help them out? You said about rustling coats or something before.
Yeah, do's and don'ts.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like shuffling and stuff tends to be a bugbear with like more like audiobooks and long form narration.
Okay.
Like I get a lot of shuffling that can pop up, like narrators shuffling and while they're reading an audiobook.
I can't imagine how annoying that must be. You're watching someone present and they're like going from like moving around on the feet.
I'm
like,
terrible for that.
Still.
I'm terrible for that. If you ever meet me in person, or those that have, you'll know that I just sway from left to right. I got it off my dad.
It's like when you're rocking a baby. You're like, you can't not do that. You're like,
like a video game character that's waiting to do something, so they just rock from side to side. It's like when they're stood still.
Yeah. But I mean, with remote sessions, a lot of that is like it's commercials, and corporate videos, that sort of thing. So, kind of sound, breaths and shuffling isn't really much of a problem with remote sessions. But with remote recording, I think having me on the session, or an engineer running it for you, just helps massively, because the voice actor can just take a step back and just really take on board what the client wants and what the client needs. And I think it's just important, if you are being kind of directed by your client or your creative team as a voice actor, to just maybe take a step back a little bit and
listen to the direction, listen to what the client wants, and just try and please them and do whatever they ask, do whatever they need, and just do it professionally. If you don't need to say too much or kind of try and step on toes. I think you can get some of these calls. You can get a lot of clients with several people in the room who kind of all want their say. At the end of the day, they're the ones who have their vision for their project, and they really want their kind of idea to come across. And
I appreciate we've got to wrap up in a second, but I just wondered, like, have you ever had a session with somebody you thought, I do not want to work with them again? Either voice actor or client, just thought, God, they were an absolute arse.
Oh,
End on a high. Sorry, guys.
You know what? I can't think of a situation where there's been voice talent. Client-wise, you get some tough sessions, and you think, boy, that was tricky. That I can't remember what it was for, but there's always. I was running this session once, and there were like 8 people from the client team on the call, and they kind of all wanted to say, and it went on way longer than it needed to. It was really hard work for the voice talent. But there was this one member of the client team who was on the call, hadn't said anything, like they'd been on mute the whole time.
Yeah.
And we did like an hour and a half or 2 hours of the session. And I kid you not, we kind of got to the end, and then we recorded everything. And then I think, someone else on the client team kind of said, "Oh, so and so, are you still there? What do you think?" And they came off mute, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not happy. Let's go from the top." And
What?
I kid you not, it was
After an hour and
bizarre.
a half.
Yeah, it was bonkers. They hadn't said anything all session. It was weird. But that's
Do you
always
find
stuck in my mind.
Do you find that sometimes though, like if you are like being the engineer on a session, like do you come across some clients who literally don't know what they want? Like they book you in for a session, you get on the session, and it is literally like they're just figuring out as they go.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Does it?
With scripts, you get. I mean, you might have come across this with scripts that are way too long, and they have to rewrite them there and then. Or it can be tough because sometimes it'll just be the creative team, like the creative agency, on the call, and the client couldn't make it over. So sometimes they don't have permission to rewrite the script.
Yeah.
So without checking with the client first. So they're kind of like, well, what do we do? Do we just
I always find that odd,
cut
though.
the session?
That's happened to me, and like they're doing it, and you're like, you know that you're paying me, and I'm literally just stood here, like I can't contribute. I'm just listening to you rewrite it. They're not even like tried it out first. They're like, we know we've got to change this. We're going to make some changes now, and you're like, okay, I'm just
I think
here.
Yeah.
The rewrite. I mean, the session I did for McDonald's last week. We did so we had the original line, then we had some alt lines, and then we did some on the spot alt lines of the alt lines, if that makes sense. And I thought that was fine because obviously you sort of figuring out, or maybe tweak that a little bit on the fly. But I've also had some sessions where they've more or less just ripped up the script.
Yeah.
Like, we need to start again.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael, can you hold on the line for 20 minutes? Oh, well, I didn't say 20 minutes, but it ended up being like 20 minutes. You just sat there like twiddling your thumbs.
Exactly.
Like, listen, like I said, you're paying for it, no problem. But I was just quite surprised because some of these agencies are quite big places. But I don't mean to sound too critical because things can change. But I was just surprised because I think sometimes you'd imagine they come in way more prepared.
Oh, no,
sort of go for, and then it's like, and sometimes the session starts and you just stood there like they're all just. It's as if like a bunch of people have just met for the first time and trying to discuss how this advert's going to play out, and then you get different direction notes. Try it this way, try it that way, etc. And I've said before the story that from a few years ago, like they asked me to do a style that I'd had no experience in, wasn't something I do, and I had like 16 people, the pirate one, 16 people on the session. I went to London to do this, and I had 16 people on the session. I had the screen in front of me and just like loads of grids. And they asked me to try this style, and I was just like, I was so confident,
it was like
I was prepared.
commercial, wasn't it? And they were like, "Can you just do it as a pirate?"
And I was like, I was confident, prepared. My audition got me the job, and then in the moment, like, oh, we're going to change it. We're going to have a bit of a pirate voice. And I was like, oh, what?
I love it.
It was just ridiculous, and I just thought I was just really surprised. I'm like,
they didn't use it, so
no. Well, listen, I'm not surprised they didn't use it.
It happens all the time. You get some sessions where it's just a breeze. Like the talent can do a couple of takes and you're done in like 10-15 minutes and they're just super happy. Like, that
they book 3
nailed
hours
it.
and you use half an hour and you're like, okay then.
Yeah. Or, there can be sessions where they're just like, they just want so many alt versions. And
but you can hear some clients getting really frustrated and they're like, I think we've got it. And you're like, no, I just want to try this thing. You're like, no.
Well, I will say, you know what, I'm a little guilty of that because only if I've built a rapport with the people on the session will I sort of chime in. And again, going back to last week, they gave me a couple of lines to do. I did them, and then as I was doing it, I thought, can I just try it this way? So I chimed in and said, actually, I've just got one alt version. Can I do it? It's all right. The first time, they're like, yeah, go for it. And they liked it. I offered it again. They went, no, that'll do. It's all right. And I thought, you know what, Michael, shut your mouth and just do what you're told. But that was stop getting too confident.
But do you feel like that? Sorry, I realise we need to wrap up. But I feel like with radio ads sometimes as well, because they're so short, and literally you do a script or two in about 7 minutes, and you do 2 takes, and then you're like, are you sure you forgot it? Do you just want me to do another one? Or and then you're like, no, I have to trust that they are happy. They're the professionals. They know what they want.
The imposter syndrome version of my brain's like, they hated it that much. They don't want the session to continue for another minute.
They want to get me off as soon as possible.
So that was great. That was great. And like, who on earth hired this numpty? Like, oh god. So, just as we wrap up then, so as we always ask, so what's next for Henry? What are you doing? Is there anything you're building towards? Anything particular you're working on that you're looking forward to? Or what's next for you?
I'm pretty pretty stacked for the next few months. So I got 4 audiobook edits on at the moment.
Yeah.
Demos have just kind of gone crazy
Hmm.
in the last month or so. So yeah, kind of got pretty booked up with those for the next few months. And
I got to say that's quite reassuring actually, because at a time when people think there's a bit of an uncertainty around the
Yeah.
whole AI thing, people are still paying for demos, like they're
Yeah.
trying to,
Yeah.
so that's good. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good sign. That.
yeah, it's, some really great voice actors who just want a really great authentic product as well. And so that's been really pleasing as well. To kind of
Yeah.
have that come through. And yeah, I think it's the whole kind of work life juggle with 2 young kids is always going to be tough.
Yeah.
But I think it's I think long term, I definitely want to be more kind of present physically, some conferences, and just kind of get in person and just say
Definitely.
hey.
Cool.
It's just
Yeah.
the last few years, just with kids and stuff, it's just been
It's impossible,
so
isn't it, to do everything?
so
Just to give
crazy.
praise, actually, like you really do show up online as well. I think, like, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
be aware of
inspiring.
you had it not been for social media, and you really, it's so consistent, and it always looks good, and you've done such a good job. So, like, props for that.
Well done.
Thanks.
It's
I
true. We
appreciate
talk
it.
a lot about showing up online, and
Yeah,
it is
but
inspiring
we're
because
shit.
you're on
Um,
LinkedIn all the time, and I just think, man, what do I post about? But I suppose it's but then and there you are, you post all the time, So if I think of an audio engineer, anyone, you're immediately who
Yeah.
comes top of mind, and that
Ah,
started from way before our session. That's because I see you posting all the time. So it goes to, and that's
Yeah,
why I
well
think, you know
done.
what, just keep showing up, keep doing your thing, because
yeah.
people notice, and so
Oh
on and
no,
so
Showing off your
forth.
appreciate
So it's
panels,
it.
you
good.
will get that brand deal soon.
Yeah.
No, it's very true. Just trying to be present online, and it's like, don't get me wrong, it's
It's
tough,
tough, yeah.
and there are absolutely times when I don't post for a little while, and I think, oh, I just don't have anything to post
Mm.
about. So it's got to be kind
Meaningful.
of purpose to
Yeah.
it, and yeah,
But is that, well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I've got my head on this idea that you've got to post something every day, and actually, I don't think that's true. I think it's quality over quantity. Like, if you post one
yeah,
really good thing once every week or once every 10 days, and it's really informative, whatever, rather than just post one generic thing every single day that doesn't really add a tremendous amount of value. I don't know. Well, I don't know, making it up as I go along. But I would wonder if maybe doing like I say, I'm trying to think about stuff to do on LinkedIn. I'm just
But that
like
would be consistent for
scavenging
you.
my
Like if
brain
you
what to
did that,
post.
if you did it every week or every 10 days and you did that consistently, then that would
That's
work
your
for
thing,
you,
isn't it? I
wouldn't it? Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah. Just do
Because I
it
think
when you
yeah.
can.
scavenging my brain for ideas every day, I would just be like
Oh,
throwing up shit at the wall, something might stick, sort of
Yeah.
thing, and I don't want to do that.
No.
No, it's really tough, and who knows what the algorithms are doing? You
Yeah.
just don't know, and some stuff I post just gets like no likes or whatever, and
Mm.
no engagement. But other stuff will. So I don't necessarily go out there to gather likes, but I
Yeah.
just try and put stuff out that's maybe going to be somewhat interesting and
Yeah.
helpful.
And it doesn't mean people
And
aren't seeing it, even if they're not interacting. Some
yeah,
people are
that's
not
true.
seeing it, and they're like, even if they see your face as they scroll past, they're like, "Oh yeah, Henry." Like, I don't know, it's just
Yeah,
these
yeah,
little things,
yeah.
isn't it? I think that we all need to be mindful of.
Yeah, yeah. No, so it's a really good point. I don't. Do we need to wrap up, or we got time,
No,
or?
you're okay. Oh, do you need to go, Jen?
No, you've got a couple minutes. That's good, yeah.
I've got a session. I've
Yeah.
got a session in like 50 minutes, so I need to
Yeah.
prepare for that. But otherwise,
I'm
I'm alright.
conscious
I'm
of
not.
your time, Henry, though. But yeah, absolutely
Oh,
finish
no.
your thought, please do.
No, it's a you just mentioned a really good point. I think and it's something I say to a lot of voice actors, but also audio engineers who like reach out to me, kind of wanting to like get more work and
Yeah,
that
it's a
sort
tough
of
time.
thing. Yeah, and but I think it definitely applies to voice actors as well. Wherever you can, you've got to put 100% behind what you're doing, almost like you're opening a shop,
Hmm.
and like you're you're building your brand. So what I did when I kind of went out on my own in terms of social media, like I started like my LinkedIn page, whatever, and Instagram. But I just spent hours and hours and hours. My wife hated me, but I spent hours connecting with voice actors on social media, and I think for a the first few months, everyone that I was connecting with, I was sending like a, a DM to,
Yeah.
just to kind of connect and just kind of start building some connections. It was, it's absolutely, it's the long game.
Yeah.
And this was back in beginning of 2022. And it is. I think it is the long game. You've got to put that groundwork in for the years ahead.
Do you know what? A lot of people sometimes, in any walks of life, when it comes to success, people see the success as it appears in that current form, as if it just happened overnight. They don't see or take into consideration the years of nothing, no growth, no traction, no this, that, and the other, grinding and grinding with no real reward. But then, like you say, it's a cumulative thing. Over time, it grows, and then bang, it's like, oh my God, this person's everywhere. Like, where have they come from? It's like
How
overnight success. Oh, well, it's an overnight success, but the overnight took 5-6 years. You know what I mean? It's
that's it.
Of it is really key.
Yeah. So whether that's building up your social media presence or getting great coaching for the years ahead, it is a long game. Yes, the social media side of things, it took a good couple of years to kind of to build up a presence and just connect with people, and you start making those relationships for the future. And it's like, for me, like, LinkedIn has been incredible, just because my target market, the people who I want to work with and help, are voice actors. So that's the majority of my connections on LinkedIn. And kind of same with Instagram. I don't do Facebook or Twitter, X, whatever we call it. So it's just Instagram, LinkedIn that I do. But it really does help just kind of be present, and people can kind of see me show up.
Just while still on, just one I always ask, because everyone who has different jobs in the industry, AI, are you seeing any impact in any way, shape or form, or do you think it's business as usual?
It's difficult to say. I think there's definitely the lower kind of end of some genres is all gone to AI. I think Chris Tester touched on this, didn't he? So there's definitely stuff like that's going to fall by the wayside, where people just kind of want a voice. It could be like a little internal company thing, and they're not fussed if it's this. Yeah. Well said, Jim. That's the word I was looking for.
It's true to a degree. Like, they might care to some degree, but ultimately, like, it's a passable, it's doable. It's acceptable, so to speak.
For the purpose.
They're more interested in just getting the message out there with some visuals. They're not bothered about how much the message resonates. It's very generic.
But I mean, the industry is gonna so many industries are gonna evolve, and everyone's gonna have to adapt some way or another. Don't quite know how far it's gonna go. It could go beyond what we could ever imagine. So I think I'm just concentrating on the here and now, doing what I do wherever I can to help voice actors, and whatever projects they need help on, I'll be there, and we'll just see how the industry goes and how it all changes. I kind of take it day by day. I think we just have to be present and
Henry, this has been so
working today.
To hear from you. It's been so useful, and you're just lovely. So thank you on behalf of the community for your help.
Really?
I think we've not had an engineer on before, have we? This first one.
I'm frightened to say no. We are in season 4 now, and I can't remember.
No. I think Henry, you are
everyone's unique.
Our first professional audio engineer on. So it's insightful because. Yeah, absolutely. It's cause, like I said at the very beginning, you come from a different side where you work with voice actors all the time, and maybe you do sometimes see things. Oh, maybe they did that differently, or do this, tips and tricks, etc. So, it's been really insightful. I really appreciate it. It's been really good. I really appreciate your time today.
No, thanks so much for having me on. It's been fun to chat and hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, well, listen, folks, we're going to leave it there, but thanks very much for sticking with us on this episode. Thanks again, Henry, for taking your time to chat to us today, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Cheers, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.